Palette Art Lesson Series. I am Noelle Rollins. Today we are going to be shading both lips and around the mouth, how the mouth meets, look at a few different angles of the mouth. So for today's lesson, I am going to be using an 8B drawing pencil and a 2H drawing pencil. If you can, go ahead and get a drawing set. You can get them at anywhere from Walmart to Amazon to Michael's, places like that. If you do not have that, you can also do your best with a regular school pencil. And for blending, I'm going to be using this blender stick. If you have it, use it. And I will also be using just a basic cotton swab. And then an eraser. This is one that came with my drawing kit, or you can just use the eraser that's on the end of your pencil. Either is just fine. So let's go ahead and take a few different looks at mouths, how to shade them, what to look for when you're shading, and have a little fun with this. All right, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started.
All right, I'm so happy to be back with you guys. We are going to draw the closed mouth today. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to draw a mouth with teeth showing. So that'll be a fun lesson as well. And just generally follow along here. It doesn't have to be exact. So I'm just sketching in, of course, how the lips meet. I do a little bit of where it heads into the cheeks there to show. Sometimes those lines on the outer part of the mouth are really what's going to show emotion as well. And you'll notice as you start to do entire faces. So just nice and easy. I hope you're doing well. I always look forward to this time of just sketching together and time to just be relaxed. So I have the 8B pencil. If you have one as well, you can grab it. Here I'm just filling in the darkest parts of the lips. So again, I always like doing this because we already have the lightest part showing, which is the paper. And then when we go in and we find the darkest parts, it forces us to then fill in between that. So what often can happen is we'll do an entire portrait and the whole thing is too light, or we go too far and it's too dark. And it just helps kind of give us the outer boundaries where we know then we're going to do a range in between those two tones. So I'm just doing really light circular style strokes here. Just really lightly filling in. I'm leaving a few areas. I try to leave it blank, as you can see here. And you'll notice coming up, I'm just doing very small, little zigzaggy back and forth where the lips meet, and there's a little bit more shadowing. And so there's a couple ways you can go about this with pencil. Is you can try to leave some of the spots blank or light where there will be like cracks in the lips or reflections on the lips. Or you can go ahead and do them, kind of ignore them and go back in at the end and then add the highlights with an eraser. To do that, you're going to want to have an eraser that's pretty small, or at least have a corner of one that you can get an accurate little line erased with. So we're kind of going in and doing the upper lip here. And typically I try to leave a little bit of a lighter edge above where the lip is, where the light has hit. And it kind of implies that the lip is sticking out a little bit further, coming away from the skull. And that part is getting highlighted by the light in the room. So I'm still using the 8B pencil, but I'm, for the most part, having a very light touch. Just slowly filling in that skin. So the nice thing about lips is you can get away with a little bit more actual lines in your pencil strokes. You can see I'm going to leave a few of these spots open here. And you can kind of fib your way through this. No one's going to know exactly where the light was reflected on the lips, so you can kind of play with it a little bit. But just in general, I want to make sure you get the idea of light reflecting little tiny wrinkles within the lips where light is brighter and darker, more shadowing where the lips come together, things like that. So we can show that those lips are somewhat rounded in shape, so there will be parts of it that are a little bit brighter than others. And as you can see with my pencil, I'm just slightly curving it, kind of using the center as the straightest point, and then I'm curving my lines slightly. Just that also helps imply a slight roundedness to the lips. So all of this is pretty light in color. Coming back in and doing a little more of the shading with some medium pressure. And as you can see with that darker line, that really helps me know how hard to push on the pencil or how many layers to apply to get a color that'll start to match up to that darker part. Now we'll come in really light again. And we're just adding in those lines in the lips. Drawing is all about just having patience. And I've said this before, but it's really about just enjoying the process. If you try to rush through it or just wait till you get to the end, then it's not really enjoyable. But if you can really enjoy the process along the way and just focus on each pencil stroke, it becomes meditative and calming, allows us to connect to ourselves. Just come away feeling centered, which is healthy for all of us. So doing a little bit where that lip meets the skin on the lower lip into the chin there. So if you have the fine blender, you can come in and use it. If not, then don't worry about this part. A cotton swab will generally be too rough or too wide, but you can still get the idea here. So I'm just doing the thinner lines. That upper part you could certainly use a cotton swab for, and then come back in with an eraser and add in some of the highlights again, is how I would do it if I just had the cotton swab. So nice and easy. Just going back over the pencil lines that I'd drawn, really helping pull them through, and then filling in some of that shading there, kind of helping the tooth of the paper that was kind of showing through little parts of that white It just helps make that blend away. And again, this all takes a lot more intention as you're first using it, but as you get more and more used to it, you'll just kind of have a feel for it. So I'm coming in now with the cotton swab, and as you notice, as you start to pick up some of the pencil lead, there's a little bit on there that then you can drag into the other areas. I'm going crossways on here to help blend those lines out now a little bit, to just soften the look slightly. The same way that I talked about the lips having a curve, we can kind of imply where the chin kind of comes in and then it comes back out towards the viewer in the lips. Having a shadow underneath the lips implies that as well. So you can start to see what's coming towards us as the viewer and what's going away. I'm just really lightly just buffing out the pencil strokes, being aware of the places that I've left blank before. So I turned my cotton swab around to kind of come in there and just buff that out without having too much pencil on that part of the cotton swab. You can see as we keep going here, I'm getting a new clean part here. As we keep going here, it's all about just step by step by step, having patience, layer after layer. We blend and then we see if we need more added. We come in, if we take away a little too much of the highlights, we can come back in with the eraser. Pencil is really one of the most forgivable mediums, and it can really be fun to play with, especially once you get confident with the different tools of erasing, blending. And I'm really excited to hear, if this is your first time using drawing pencils, how much you love being able to use these deeper B-level pencils. So I find if you can just have a few basic, a little bit higher quality tools to use, it helps so much in the enjoyability and how much you can do. Because you can definitely try to do this with the basic drawing pencil, but it's going to require just a lot more layers, a lot more where you're pushing hard and then you're running into where it's getting shiny. So for a couple dollars, you can have a B pencil and really kind of change the entire feel of the drawing. So after I blended all that out, I'm just back in here with this 8B, and I'm just really lightly noticing which parts could use a little bit more detail again that I might have blended out too much of, or just simply that it's, after we can look at everything, we go, oh, okay, those parts need a little bit more shadowing or definition to really show off the look that we want. Just doing very tiny little marks here at the bottom. It almost reminds me of the upside down version of the lower eyelashes, where it's just little tiny dash marks up and down. And as you can see, we're getting darker towards the edges of the mouth, and then more and more lightness as we get towards the center. And that implies that it's rounding both from the top and bottom of the lip, but also from side to side. Just very slight, rounded out, more like oval little pencil strokes that I'm doing here. It gets really fun later too when you're combining this with the other features around it. It's a really great feeling when you start to see the look of the face coming together. I typically save the mouth for last, as I've said before, just because I like to work from the top and work my way down, and then I'm left-handed, so I work from the top right and work my way down. And so I have less chance of ruining my art if I save the mouth. Sometimes I'll do the mouth and then I'll do the left eye, but it just depends on what medium I'm doing as well. So I'm just really lightly buffing out a few of those pencil strokes that I just added. And it's a good mixture then. As you can see, the goal is to have a mixture where it looks soft and blended, but then just touches where it says, oh no, we paid attention to the details, and put a few pencil strokes in there. And that whole entire look of the lips are more, they have the appearance of being more detailed than they even are then, when there's at least a few details. And still the artsy look of not having everything so clearly defined. So just coming back in with this. This eraser is tough because I am using the corner and the camera's in the way a little, so I'm trying not to block it, but you can get the idea. If we want to lift up some of the color there, come through and lift it, and then you can fix. If I took too much off, I can just come right back in, super simple, and fill in the spots that I took too much away. So what do you guys think? How are you liking drawing lips? Are you building your confidence? The next one with teeth is going to be really fun. I'm going to show you how much pressure to put on the teeth and some ways to really make the teeth look nice without overly shadowing them and giving them a kind of a dingy appearance. So here we are. Shaded lips. Let me know what you liked about this. I'm just adding some finishing touches. You can keep following along. Yours might not need the same place as I do, but you can take a look at yours and see if there's anywhere you just want to add anything. This pencil on the eraser, or this eraser on the pencil, really allowed me to get a lot more detail than that larger eraser did. Just exact, which is always nice. So what I'm doing by doing the eraser is just filling back in, making sure that I don't have the whole drawing too dark. So just bringing the balance back so we have the range again between the paper and the darkest parts. Here's another drawing that I did before with pencil that I wanted to show you. This one has some different cracks in the lips as well, and then there's some little peach fuzz on the upper lip that I was able to go back in with an eraser and do. So just wanted to show you a couple different angles and styles of lips today. All of what you can do with a pencil. So I thank you for being here. Go ahead and watch more in this playlist if you'd like some more drawing time today. Give this video a like if you got something out of it, and make sure to subscribe so you can see the future lessons. We are going to be working through each feature of the face and enjoying the process and just really connecting with ourselves as we do it. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.